How's it going, people? And welcome back to the Jumper Punch channel, and welcome back to the Grand Slam grind, where we go through the rounds 1 to rounds 4, and we'll give you the quarterfinal preview. Harry, welcome. Dean, welcome. How are we?
Not too bad. It's been good. It's good to be back. Another first week done of the tennis. Some interesting games. Some late night finishes. And just a few player complaints as well. I'd like to talk about a bit later on in the show.
Oh, that was a bit spicy.
Thanks, Mars, for having me back on. And unfortunately, in my opinion, the first week, which is the best week of the Grand Slam, it's done and dusted. We're not going to get that till for another 51 weeks now. So it's a long, long wait for us Aussies here, especially the ones that reside in Melbourne or the ones that travel here from all parts of the world and interstate. But I definitely agree with Dean. Interesting topics to discuss. Apart from the tennis itself that was played, some really great matches. Controversially, late night finishes. Apparently the Sunday was brought in to assist the players with their scheduling, which to me, I think it's become more commercial and more about ticketing and more about putting everyone on the bigger courts and getting the public to pay that premium to watch them on a bigger and better court with less scheduled matches like they used to once upon a time on the Rod Lavers and Margaret Courts and whatnot. We'll touch base on that later. I've had my fair say, but let's get straight into it and cut straight into the mustard, as they say.
Definitely, lads. All right, so we start off with round 1, which was across 3 days for the first time ever. And I don't know how I feel about that. I think the traditional 2 days and the traditionalists will love the 2 days and want it back, but we'll see what they do for next year. I know that the crowd attendance were up, but I mean, I went to the first day. I don't know about you lads. If you went to the first day, as we discussed last week, there was a lot of people, and we knew there was going to be a lot of people there, and there was the quality of matches or the scheduling of matches. There weren't enough. And I think the quality was a little bit low, to be honest. I don't know how you guys take it. If you went, did you guys go?
I was there on the first day. I just went to the night session to see Djokovic play. But looking at the schedule, I think the Sunday and Monday weren't the best. And I think Tuesday was a little bit better. I didn't like it. I didn't like how it was. I know when I was there on the Tuesday, there was some people had to wait 4 hours to get into John Cain Arena. So it's a bit of a joke. The virtual queue system, if you're waiting that long just to go and watch the game. I think Kokonakis is on, but still 4 hours to get in. Like, it's ridiculous.
Apparently there was, I had word of that, there was a malfunction as well where they put you in the queue and you get to like 800. I got down to 200 once, and then it went back up to like 900. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to go there and I'm just going to walk in.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. You just walked in. We're like, sorry, there's been a malfunction. So I think, again, Australia in that, we kind of like let ourselves down when we try things that are new and they haven't been tested before, like a beta testing. So I think they can get better at that again.
Yeah.
Harry?
My 2 cents on it, very, very simple. So we wanted to introduce the Sunday to assist players with scheduling. My 2 cents worth is, I think that was smokescreen. It's become more about the commercial side of things and more about putting as many players as they can on the bigger courts, which I think it's great for the players. But let's not forget, apart from TV rights and sponsorship and whatnot, the public plays a big part in purchasing tickets. Now, I'm all for, the big players playing on the Rod Laver, but why are you cheating them? Because in previous years, when it was an 11 a.m. start on Rod Laver and Margaret Court, in a day session, you'd be able to watch 3 fixtures. Now, that could be 2 ATP fixtures and a WTA, or 2 WTA matches and an ATP. And you're going to get from 11 a.m. right until probably 6:30 p.m., 7. Sometimes it even cuts into the night session and slightly pushes the night session back. Now, in those earlier rounds, when you got Novak Djokovic, apart from obviously his match against Prismic, which we'll discuss shortly as well, how fantastic he was and brave in that first round match. It was all about scheduling, yeah, making it less strenuous for the players. Well, I find that hard to believe when in the third round, I think it was, perhaps maybe the second, a gentleman by the name of Emil Rusevori, which not many people know about, of Finland, pushed Daniil Medvedev to 5 sets on Margaret Court Arena, and the conclusion of that match was at 3:39 a.m. So it's very simple. Cut the Sunday out, you put a 2 a.m. curfew, and that's how you solve all scheduling issues. There's always the next day for them to come back to compete and play a set and a half, especially when you've got 2 matches on during the day session on Margaret Court and Rod Laver Arena, which for me, pathetic, and the public have been cheated.
I wholeheartedly agree. And it was the
Correct.
second round, and we'll get into that. I mean, yeah, bizarre, to be honest, and they want to eliminate it. And am I right in saying there is a curfew where that last match can't get played past 11 o'clock? Am I right in saying that?
That's only at Wimbledon. I believe
They don't
the
have it
French Open. No, they don't. Yeah, Wimbledon's always been, I think, at 11 p.m. Yeah,
11 p.m.
So no matter, I mean, if it's 10:58 p.m. and the service game starts in a 6-minute game because it's gone to juice back and forth advantages and whatnot, they'll go into like 4 past 11, whatever it might be, for example. But 11 p.m. is the curfew, and then they come back, and that game is second on court. So they'll play a WTA or an ATP match.
That's right.
And that's always the French Open used to have insufficient lighting, and they still do, I believe, on the outdoor courts. So I think, bad light just stops plays there on the outdoor courts. But now at Philippe Chatrier Court and Susan Longlong, they've got sufficient lighting. They've had a major renovation and upgrade in recent years there. So they do push past the clock, and no curfews there. And of course, the Americans, well, New York's obviously the city that never sleeps. So the Big Apple there, they're always playing till the early hours of the morning. Time. But they seem to have never had a scheduling issue. I mean, and Mars, we spoke about this, I think, last week, and Dean yourself. We obviously recall Marcos Bagdatis and Leighton Hewitt in 2008. Went to 4:34 a.m. in the morning in the third round. Okay, so that's 2008. 15 years later, Murray and Kokkinakis went to 4:30 a.m. in the morning as well. Right. So I think again, I'll repeat myself. Yeah, as controversial as it sounds, it's what they said about the schedule for the players. No, I'm not buying it. I think it's smokescreen. Bigger picture, an extra weekend for the crowd to flock in, money generated, revenue for the tournament.
I agree.
More TV rights still. It's just that. Or else it's a 2 a.m. curfew. Monday, 2 weeks' time on a Sunday is the final. Round 1's Monday. Problem solved.
I think all Grand Slams should be the same. I should have a time curfew and stick by that. And they shouldn't have different times and for each Grand Slam. And like, for example, Roland Garros, Wimbledon. So I know Wimbledon, it's tradition, but fix up the lights. And honestly, like you need lights to play. It's ridiculous. Even the French Open, fix it up. I know people might not say no, but you have to. You have to play matches at night to get all the matches completed.
Correct. I agree. And then if you got rain as well, sometimes you might have rain, it pushes everything out.
That's right.
It just condenses everything again.
Correct.
And, you're stuffed.
Yeah.
I guess we'll get into the round 1 then. And starting off with Dino Prismic, the 18-year-old, the qualifier. He tested Djokovic. He took a right to him for about, we'd say 2.5 sets. Yeah. He's won the junior boys Roland Garros last year, the title there, and he took Nole to just past 4 hours. His longest ever
4 sets and 4 hours. Yeah,
his longest ever first round in a Grand Slam. So I mean, hats off to the young kid. He gave it his all, and I mean, I watched it and I'm just thinking, he's playing some big time tennis. But how long can those kids play big time tennis for?
Yeah, exactly right. Especially against a master of like Novak, a 10-time champion of Melbourne Park, the king of Melbourne Park. It's fair to say, and he's rightfully earned that throne over the years of success he's enjoyed here in Melbourne. But for me, I'm really, really keen now to see Prismic's schedule. I mean, he's ranking. He qualified through into the main draw, so some good ranking points there. I think it was more the experience for him in round 1. Once he drew Novak, he was probably thinking, you know what? I'm going to serve it up to him. I'm going to go out swinging. That he did.
Correct.
His points weren't good enough to now get him into the top 100 to send consistently enter ATP 250s and the 500s of whatnot, and maybe into qualifiers of Masters. But I think some really good prize money for him. A young kid at 18 years of age is always important. But keen to see now how he's going to react through the Challenger system. But I've got no doubt in my mind, come the clay court and come French Open time, he should be flying through the ranking spots between the 200s and the 100. I can really see him getting a direct entry into the main draw based on his ranking at the French Open. What do you gentlemen think?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting for him this year. I think it'll be a big year. Everyone's seen how he played against Djokovic. There's a lot of pressure on him. I think he's ranked 180 now, so he has to get that ranking up. He's 18 years old. A lot of players, they have these games, and I don't know if you remember, it was in 2005. It was Nadal versus Hewitt, and Nadal played Hewitt at the Oz Open, and they went to 5 sets. And I knew from that game, Nadal's going to be, he's going to be a champion. And look at him now.
Yeah.
So these young players do have these games, and who knows, he might be in the top 100 end of the year. I think that's probably what his aim is, and it'll be interesting to see how he grows. He moves well on the court. He's sliding everywhere. I think there's a few things he can work on in his game. I think I was out the game. Maybe his serve and it's a bit more powerful, and maybe just a few of his ground strokes. He was trying to, I felt like, out rally Djokovic, and that is very hard to do. But he's only 18. He's got plenty of years to improve on.
The world's his oyster, as they say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so,
he was definitely the highlight of round one, in my opinion, as a losing player.
That's right.
I definitely agree. And as Novak said, he said it felt like he was playing himself a little bit in the mirror. So,
yeah,
it's big words from,
that's
high
compliment.
Compliment. Yeah, that's a big compliment. Yeah. So Novak saw something in him. It's all about the young kid now getting his team to put in the right schedule, I think. And I think, based on that, if he would have gotten 25 points to 25 points to qualify, 10 points to a main draw. I reckon, Dean, in the new rankings when they come out after the Australian Open, probably sitting around the 160, 150 mark. So he's probably going at plus 30 after this. He'll still enter challenges, and he'll probably be seated in the challenges.
That's right.
I reckon he could push into the top 100 by the end of the year. Most definitely.
I think so.
Easy.
I'm calling the French Open. 50? I reckon by the French Open, he'll be getting. No, I'm not saying top 50. I reckon if he shows that form that he did in qualifying against Novak, he'll get into the main draw of the French Open. No doubt about it.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
But consistency is the key, especially with a young player that. And let me tell you guys, the challenges, I know they're the second tier of the tennis pyramid right now. They're very hard to win matches, let alone titles, let alone banking prize money and points there, because everyone is so hungry. It's such a dogfight.
It is.
It's like the championship in English football. You know what I mean? Like there are some results that just don't make sense. It's physical. It's dog eat dog. It's just, you always got to be on your game 24/7. There's no time for complacency, or else you get found out.
So I did go and watch the Taylor Fritz game against Facundo Diaz Acosta, and man, that was a game that went the journey. I thought he was going to roll Fritz for 1 second, and I think it was the 4th set, and he just fell away a little bit, and he gave it his all. I mean, big serving, and I'm like, mate, who is this bloke? And I thought maybe Fritz, but the mental strength came through, and he just dispatched of him in the end. I think that bit of that Grand Slam, what can we say? Experience came through in the end. Yeah.
I think,
you got it. Yeah.
I think how good is Taylor Fritz's forehand? I don't know if you saw in that game, just in general in the Oz Open. The way his wrists, the way he uses his wrist to hit those forehands, it's unbelievable.
I don't know if you've seen. There is a video of him, not executing this serve where he hits the serve, but instead of hitting down on, he hits outwards. So he hits this serve that curves out. It's quite amazing. If you've got the time, go and have a watch. It's incredible what these men can do. We also had Rublev, who nearly got upset in 5 sets. So that set was
Yeah, that was a wild match. That was wild. Absolutely wild for wild. It was unbelievable. And it absolutely amazes me, tennis. It's such a funny sport. Like, we're going to talk about the women's side of the draw, very, very soon as well. And that's just been absolutely bizarre, and results have not made sense at all there. But, wild from Brazil, obviously, can hardly play on hard, let alone grass as well. Obviously, the Brazilians are very famous to make a name for themselves on the clay, on the dirt. They're very strong, and most of their players, are. But he obviously beat Daniel Medvedev. I remember in 5 sets at the French Open. I think in the second round. That was a real shock and surprise. But I did not think he was going to push Andrei Rublev anywhere near 5 sets. I thought it was going to be a straight setter, easy win, just a Sunday stroll for Andrei Rublev. But it went the distance, and not only that, 6-all in the 5th. At one point, I think Rublev was down 4-1 in the super tiebreaker, and he turned things around real quick because he was probably on the next plane back to Moscow if he didn't at that point in time. And look at him now; he's still in the draw. He's still in the draw, believe it or not.
We also had Dominic Thiem and Felix Olga Aliassime, who went into the early hours of the night as well. And I don't know if the match says more about Thiem or Aliassime. I mean, this kid, he rose to fame, went on the scene, and it's just, I don't know. I think he's kind of waned a little bit. I think his game lacks in areas. I don't know how you feel.
I think he's lost it a little bit. It's similar to Shapovalov, when Shapovalov came on the scene. Remember him beating Nadal when he was 17 or 18, and I thought maybe he'll be the next one, make big top player, Shapovalov, but he wasn't. And it's probably similar to what's his name? It's similar to FWA. Similar to him. Like, it was good. It was a good win, the first round win, gave him a lot of confidence. But other than that, I don't see him being a top 10 player.
Me either. Yeah. And not consistent enough.
You got to remember. You got to remember as well. He did have a horrendous season last year and missed the back half, most of it due to injury as well. So, I mean, he would have been wrapped to get over the line. But, I mean, I remember last year, Felix lost to Popper at the Adelaide International, and he got upset by Jiri Lehechka, I think, in the third round of the Australian Open as well, when he was a much higher seed. So, he had quite an easier draw. I mean, nobody had heard of Lehechka before his run to the 4th round last year. Look, I think it's something that Felix will build on. I think he'll have a much better season than what he did last year. He'll probably push the 20 spot. Can't see him re-entering the top 10 anytime soon.
No, I don't think he'll push any of those players out. We also saw Saffelin get knocked out by Grigspor, which was a bit of an upset. I mean, we gave a little bit of high praise to Saffelin. Well, you did, Harry, last week. And it was a weird result. But then we went to the Tsitsipas game against Bergs. And I just noticed something with Tsitsipas. His serve going from the pinpoint serve with the back foot coming up to the front foot, going back to the normal platform serve. I mean, can you add anything to that, Harry? I don't know if you've got any information, or do you? Or no?
I'll just repeat what he said when he was being interviewed. It was tactical. And I've got a big smile on my face, so I'm not a good liar. So that's all I'll say.
I'm sure it was.
It was tactical. It was tactical.
I'm sure it was.
It was tactical.
Greg's a good liar. Yeah. And then
no comment.
We also had Andy Murray, Milos Raonic, and Stanislas Wawrinka all exiting the first round. I
think Andy Murray's done. I think he'll retire this year.
He pretty much admitted it.
Yeah,
he's done. He's not.
How he plays. Wimbledon's his last tournament. I'm calling it from now. Wimbledon is his last tournament.
He has to change how he plays. Be more aggressive. It's just.
I feel. But Dina, it's very hard to say that as well. I mean, the guy came into an era with which was dominated by Nadal and Federer, weathered that, then started teething when Djokovic was literally winning everything and still became a 3-time Grand Slam champion.
Yeah, he's done well.
And as well as Wawrinka as well, who we've just mentioned. So,
3-time.
The fact that he returned to tennis, he's playing with a metal hip. He's still competing with the,
100%.
you got to give credit where credit's due. And I could say so much more. I've got my reasons and beliefs deep down as to why his body has not been able to sort of sustain the vigorous tour for multiple years like the others have been able to sustain. But I think it's more of a conversation that we had off air rather than on air. It'll be very controversial. But anyway, in regards to Murray, great career. I'm calling Wimbledon his last tournament, and he'll bow out a champion of the game.
I think he's also the only men's tennis player to win 2 gold medals. If I'm
that's
correct.
right. That's right. He's correct.
He's got that.
He's done well.
He's
had a
that
great
record.
career.
I think against those, those 2 and 3 players. I mean, what more can you do?
That's right.
Yeah. Sumit Nagal was the Raonic. Yeah, if you want to touch base on him, good. Yeah. Not a bad return against Dimino. I mean, it is what it is.
He's not fit,
isn't it?
guys. He's not fit. He's not fit.
Definitely not.
He's not.
He was cooked.
Like so much talent. I think gone to waste. Yes, he's a different body type. He's more the Ivo Karlovic, John Isner type. Big server, tall. Doesn't like exchanging in long lengthy rallies, but. Isner came onto the scene a bit late after college. Ivo Karlovic had played till like he was 39, 40 and was always top 100. Right. Why can't Milos do it? I think his middle years he did take advantage of and took them for granted. And sort of maybe after that, when he made that Wimbledon final, wasn't working as hard or near hard enough as what the tour demands you to get your body right to play best of 5-set Grand Slam tennis. And look at him now. Yeah, had a great opening set, pinched it off Dimona. And then chucked in the towel. Body couldn't cope physically with the demand of it, and that was it. And back to Montreal he goes, scratching his head and seeking answers and feeling sorry for himself.
I think you'll need to play a lot more to get the match fitness as well and get those miles into the legs. And Wawrinka, I mean, I think it's nearly curtains for him as well.
Yeah, he's 39, is he? 38? Yeah. He's had a good career.
He's won his Grand Slams too, in that big era.
Three as well. Correct. People forget he won 3. Exactly like Andy Murray.
And he won it later in his career as well. Not in his probably 24, 25, in his 30s. He did well.
Arguably, I'm just going to put it out there, and this is a contentious one. Better backhand, best backhand, one-handed backhand you'll ever see. I'm not too sure about that, but
I think so. I agree.
It's better than
I agree. He's a bit, I think it is. It is.
All day. Yeah.
And he gives a bit of a grunt as well when he hits it.
I actually rate someone else's backhand Wawrinka is one for me, backhand-wise. But to me, Federer's backhand was great. Don't get me wrong. Elite, world class, 1 in a million. I've actually got Federer third on my list in terms of backhand, right? Because Federer, believe it or not many people know this.
And one? Two-hand and one? Or
I'm talking
one?
About
single?
No, just one is. One-hand, single-handed backhanders, right? So 1 is Wawrinka. I've got Roger Federer as 3. Mate, his forehand was way better than his backhand. His backhand...
got a second.
Go, who?
Gasquet.
Yes, spot on. Mate, he creams them absolute bullets. I'm talking, even look at his opening set in round 1 against Carlos Alcaraz.
Yeah.
Mate, he caused Alcaraz a lot of stress and pressure. Alcaraz had 9 breakpoint opportunities in that opening set. I mean, obviously, he came along very easily in sets 2 and set 3. Some beg to differ and say it was his warm-up set leading in. It was his first set that he's played here down under in over 2 years. And, yeah, fair enough. But, I mean, 0 of 9 break points for Carlitos against Richard Gasquet. And when push came to shove and he was fighting tooth and nail in that first set, I thought his backhand was phenomenal. Not bad for a 37-year-old. And in the prime of his peak, it was a massive weapon that got him over the line time and time again. So
I knew you were going to say.
Yeah, I've got him at 2 in terms of the backhand. Yep.
Yeah. Unpopular opinion, you take it as you may, but yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. We'll kick on. Sumit Nagal, not an infamous name on the tour, but he was the first Indian player to beat a seeded player in a Grand Slam since Ramesh Krishna did against the former world number one Mats Wilander in 1989, who won the Oz Open in 1988. So that was a bizarre game.
Bizarre result. Congratulations to him and his team. He came through qualifying as well, of course.
Yeah, smart. The qualifiers.
So qualifying, he didn't play Bublik, obviously. He came through three tough rounds, which he...
Bublik.
I mean, can I be honest? For a qualifier, I think when you get a guy like Bublik, it's probably, it might not look good on paper, but it's actually not a bad draw for you because, yes, if he's on, he's on. But mentally, if he's slightly off, you can have a field day. And Nagal won in straight sets.
I
think,
you know...
Bublik was complaining about the conditions, and he was all over the place. Can happen for him.
We collect his 100K.
Good luck to him.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
But it's good for the Indian tennis that he went through qualifiers, won the first round.
He'll be hot over there.
Oh, yeah, they'll love him there. And hopefully it gets bigger, tennis in India. It's got so many people.
We'll push on to the women's side, and the 16-year-old Mia Andreeva. Was that round 2 or round 1? I think it was round 1.
Round two. No, it was round 2. She beat Ons Jabeur.
Ons Jabeur in 6 love, 4 minutes. Smashed it.
Yeah, I was there at that game.
That's it.
How was that?
She was just too good. It was too good for her. Outplayed her, power, everything.
Was she too good, or was Ons just an off Ons? Was it an off Ons?
She was a bit off. She was off, but the 16-year-old wasn't making any mistakes, and she's very powerful as well. She's pretty tall. She could be a good player in the future.
She's only going to get better, guys. She's got top 10 written all over her. She'll be top 5. She'll be top 5 very soon.
Should take that
in that last Roland Garros.
That's
agree. And I think imagine another 2 years of pre-season, a few more gym sessions into her. She's only going to grow taller, build more muscle, become a better mover from side to side on the court. Look out WTA, because anyone that draws her or comes against her, you're in for a heck of a fight on that day. And it's going to probably be a day you could regret meeting her in the near future.
Yeah. We go to Naomi Osaka. I think she gave a good account of herself being out of the sport for quite a while and having a kid and coming back. She defeated by Caroline Garcia 6-4, 7-6.
Who was a 16th seed as well. And Garcia's been a top 10 player for many years as well, Mark. So,
correct.
If anyone that wants to sort of says that she's washed up or anything like that,
she's still coming back.
Just be patient. She's still coming back. She won a tough round at the WTA Brisbane events pre-Australian Open. And you know what? Let's just give her time. And I reckon we
give her 6 months.
Reassess where she's at by Wimbledon.
Easy. Yeah. That's when you know.
She'll start winning a couple of WTA matches. She'll start then making her quarterfinals more consistently, and she'll be back.
I reckon she'll be targeting the US Open to go deep. I reckon.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That'll be a plan.
Correct. Sabalenka, Coco Gauff, Swiatek, they all cruised through in the first round. I mean,
that was easy for them.
All cruised through. Easily.
We move along to round 2, and where do we start? I'm going to start off with our dark horse, Maria Sakkari. In this, this was a bizarre result, losing to Elena Avanesian, which is she Russian? Or I think she's Armenian descent, though.
Russian.
Yeah.
Lost to the disappointing.
Wow.
I think mentally, I don't know what it is. It has to be
100% mental. Guys, I was there. She was playing passive tennis at times.
Yeah.
Lots of unforced errors. No change of tactics. Was just stubborn on peppering balls to her forehand, and she was not missing. Her opponent was not missing anything on the forehand, and it's just like, where's the variety? I was at the game. I was like front row baseline. I was watching every single point I was on the edge of my seat, obviously. I was there supporting Maria, but left bitterly disappointed. And admittedly, I have to say it's another Grand Slam wasted for her. I know she'll be hurting personally. She works her backside off. She takes a lot of pride in her performances and doesn't just chuck the towel in or just doesn't attend events just to play them. She's there to win. Hence why she's got such a high ranking and been, in the top 20 and top 10 for most of her career. So, it was a real shame, but passive tennis and not having a plan B and pulling up tight in big moments, that was her Achilles heel. So mentally, she needs to flick a switch somewhere. I don't know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but I hope it happens real soon. I'll always, be a number one supporter and wish her the best of success, but something needs to change now for her to go to that next level.
Yeah, something has to change. Like her Grand Slam hasn't got a good record. I know she made a semi-final, I think, at the French Open. Was it French Open, Harry?
Yeah, and the French Open 2021 had match points, lost to Krejcikova, the eventual winner. And she also made the 2021 US Open semi-finals, where she lost to Emma Redicato, who was the eventual winner as well.
Yeah. So she can get there. It's just if things keeps happening, like the mental keeps happening, something has to change, and hopefully it does for her. I think because she can go deep in the Grand Slam, definitely.
We'll go to Iga Swiatek. She saved herself three sets after coming from behind, from 1-4 down in the last to take the last 6-4 against Danielle Collins. I mean, that would have been a massive result if Danielle Collins got up there against the world number one. But after the game, Collins announced her retirement as well. So I think she wants to go family time, I think it is.
She retires into the year, I think it is, Cholo?
Yeah.
End of the year she'll retire.
Correct. So,
so she'll bow out come US Open time, I reckon that'll be.
Correct. 1-4 down in the last for Iga it was some nerves for her, I reckon. But
it's a big win. It's a big win. Don't forget, Danielle Collins made the Oz Open final here a couple of years ago, losing to Ash Barty. So I know now she's no longer seeded and whatnot, but she's a dangerous name to face when you are a seed, coming up against an unseeded player in the draw. So she can still definitely hit. And look, we're going to speak more about round 3, rounds 4 and whatnot later in the show. But this women's side of the tournament has just shown that a ranking is just a number. On any given day, anything can happen. And if you're 5-10% off, like Ons Jabeur was, she got absolutely battered and smoked. Yeah. Maria lost to world number 75, 6-4, 6-4, straight sets there. I can keep going on and on and on about the results, which we'll touch base on soon. We've made notes of them, but the women is so open right now, apart from maybe 1 or 2 seeds that are still left in it.
Yeah. We move on to Medvedev. If you want to.
Just want to mention, one of the games in round 2, I think it was Jordan Thompson versus Tsitsipas. And I think in the interview, I think Jordan Thompson complained about the AO officials wearing yellow. It interferes with, obviously, the tennis ball. I think he's right, because if someone's going to serve the ball and you got someone wearing yellow behind them, I think it interferes. It does distract you. And I don't understand why they're wearing yellow when every other year they've worn blue or another color. And this year they decided to wear yellow. I don't understand. Fluor yellow as well.
Polo, mate. Ralph Polo. Show me
I don't get it.
The design.
I don't get it. You know?
Right. Even the sponsors happy. I agree with Thompson. I agree. And it's fluoro yellow, the exact same color of the balls. And people might say, oh, that's soft and whatnot. It's not, because where they're all standing. You got to remember, when you're serving it or you're receiving the serve, they're sitting at an elevated view when you're the receiver. Or when you're the server, you're serving it, they're elevated to you. So in that zone where you're eyeing the ball is where you can easily lose focus and sight of the ball, especially if the ball goes in that zone and the eyesight of where those ticket inspectors are, I like to call them.
I know tennis players can complain about a lot of things, but this is thing I agree with them.
No, he's got a valid point. He's got a valid point.
it
I guess
does.
it's like in cricket where you got the white sheets behind the red ball, and
Yeah,
you know, if you see somebody in
Correct.
the line of sight that's wearing red, you know, you want them to get out of the way, and you'll always
That's
see
right.
it. It's just it's in their hitting zone, so
Yep.
you
Yeah.
know you want those people
Correct.
to move out of the way because you can, you know, I know it could be pretentious or it's so minute, but the little things count. All the 1%ers count in this game. So yeah, I
100% they do.
I mean,
And Dean, on that match, mate, I had really good seats for that match. Mate, can I say that was a really, really, really great match to watch. I mean, it didn't go the distance. It was 4.
great
But
level.
talking about ebbs and flows of a professional
Quality.
level, especially in the men's game, you know, it was great. It was a top 10 player against a local battler type, let's say, who has definitely improved, and I think he's a little bit underrated sometimes, but he sort of doesn't get the best results outside of Australia, or he's okay on the grass as well.
Is he top
He could
50?
be a little bit better outside.
Yeah.
Just outside, I believe he is. Just
Yeah,
outside.
right, yeah.
But topsy-turvy match. Like, Thompson definitely deserved that first set, which he won 6-4. Next set goes into a tiebreaker, and just before the tiebreaker started, I thought Thompson was getting the better of Tsitsipas, especially towards the pointy end and the business end of that second set. And I noticed, like, I was sitting right behind Apostolos Tsitsipas, Stefanos' coach and father, of course, and I could notice tension and stress within Stefanos.
Yeah.
Somehow pinched the tiebreaker. It goes to 1 set all. And then for the next set, third set, it was all Stefanos. The unforced errors dropped. He took complete control, flawless third set. And for 90% of that fourth set, flawless again. Try serving it out at 5-4, gets broken. It was one of the most craziest games I've ever seen. Goes 5 all. Thompson then holds with ease, 6-5. And then there's another, like, I kid you not, maybe it felt longer for me because obviously I was supporting Tsitsipas and in his player box area, but that game where Thompson almost forced it into the fifth set, multiple break points Thompson had, it felt like it went for 20 minutes, literally.
Yeah.
So, and then Stefanos took it to the tiebreaker and found the solution and a way to just prevail. But, I mean, if you want to see how momentum swings in a match and ebbs and flows, that's one to show any junior prospering to get to the highest level in tennis.
I agree. And he is, Jordan Thompson is in the top 50, ranked number 47 in the world. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I stuffed up.
Decent
Normally I'm good with my stats, so good on Tomo. Good on Tomo because he's gone through his fair share of bad luck and tough losses or even some really crap draws. I honestly, I reckon at the French Open, he's copped Nadal so many times in the early rounds.
Oh, my God.
It's not even funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, so either in the first or second round, it's like Thompson versus Nadal. Like every time, it's a joke. So, look, I just really hope for Tomo, he can get, a seeded spot now. That should be his goal, consistently at Grand Slams. But that's going to come from him winning matches now on hard court and even on the clay outside of Australia. So that's very important to his career and this 2024 season for him.
For this game, I watched the whole game. Medvedev versus Rusevori. Mate, Medvedev hit the Uno reverse on him, I'll tell you that. Mate.
Medvedev.
What time did that go on to? Like 3:30 in the morning?
Yeah, 3:39.
3:39 a.m. Yep. There you go.
Six love.
Hey, it's all about scheduling. It's all about scheduling.
That's his scheduling. No late night finishes. There you go. I was open.
Scheduling.
Mate, if you wanted to watch a match, I'm thinking, mate, what is going on here? 2 sets to love down, and then Medvedev spits the dummy. He goes a little bit of AMF bowling with his racket on all his.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that? With his racket?
I thought, my God, if that was an inch right, mate, that would have hit one of the event organisers.
Yeah, it would have been defaulted.
He would have been defaulted, and then Rusevori would have been, mate, see you later. Mate, I couldn't believe what I was watching.
In his interview, he said, if I was a fan, I would have stayed to maybe like 1 or 2 o'clock, but I know what you guys are still here for. I go home.
Well, he's right.
Yeah,
he's right in a way.
funny.
But to the fans who did stay until 3:39, good on them. Cam Norrie.
He's a good character.
He is. He's one of the best. Unique characters in this game. It's become bland. Cam Norrie, he became Houdini, and he pulled back a 2-set-to-love lead against the world number 133 in the Italian, Giulio Zepperi.
The
That's a
Italian.
false rank. That is a false rank for Giulio Zeppieri. He's going to be a top 100 player. He's going. I'll make a call. By the end of the season, he'll be top 80. He'll climb 50 spots easily. No doubt in my mind. He can play. He's a talent, and he's not the traditional, typical Italian player that just thrives on the clay. I think he can win on all surfaces, but I'll reserve comment yet until I see him play on grass.
Yeah.
Now that's a question mark, but on the other two, sir.
No, Zverev, he went into 5 with Klein and got the chocolates in a super tiebreaker, and that brought up his 400 to a level win. Yeah,
I was there at the game, and I felt like Zverev was just holding on.
he was.
Klein could have won that game. I think
he lost the game more than Zverev won the game.
Zverev was struggling. He was struggling. Klein was attacking him. Zverev couldn't do much. Zverev was just passive, just getting them back, not how he usually plays. And he wasn't using his serve to his advantage, and Klein had big shots, but that's why Zverev's ranked where he is, and Klein is ranked where he is. Klein can't get it done. That's why, what's his ranking? 100 and something in the world? That's why he's there.
30 odd. He was seeded. He was, I think, the last seed for qualies with the 32 seed. So he'll be about the 130, 140 mark. Just amazes me. I actually watched Lucas Klein's first round match against Kwon of South Korea, which he won in 4 sets. It was a real passive game to watch. It was exciting because it was a 163. Lucas Klein. How was he seeded for qualies then? Must have been a huge dropout of players then for the qualies. Anyway, sorry guys, got another stat wrong. Sorry. But look, no weapons. Neither Kwon or him had it. They were just like massaging the ball back, waiting for the other one to make the error. And I'm just thinking Zverev's going to smoke this guy. I watched Zverev up close and personal at the United Cup, and the way he was serving was a joke. Like 85% first serves in. I thought, geez, if he takes this form in, he's going to do some serious damage. Might even go all the way and win it. But there's a massive drop-off with Zverev, with the best of 3 and the best of 5. It's day and night sometimes. I've always seen, especially in the earlier rounds with him, he gets himself in trouble. He's always coming back from 2 sets down to love and finds a way to win. He's always doing he makes life so hard for himself. I just don't know what it is with him. He's got weapons. He's a great player. Definitely not my favourite player, but he's a fantastic player. And where's the form of him pushing Nadal? Obviously, the day that he got that bad injury that sidelined him for 12 to 18 months or so. Where's that form of him taking Rafael Nadal and Philip Chatrier court to 3.5 hours for 3 sets, which didn't end up getting completed? It's so far and few between with him, and he's the king of the ATP, but the tours. But when it comes to Grand Slam, it's a different Zverev. He drops off massively.
I don't want to go into it deep because we don't have all the facts and everything, but maybe it could be a mental thing with his personal life, as we've seen. So maybe that could add to it. I don't want to delve into that. So, but I think that could play a factor as well. So
that's resurfaced, hasn't it? It's come.
Yeah, so
resurfaced. I mean, it went sort of missing for the last year and a bit.
Now it's coming up again.
Well, innocent till proven guilty, but it would have to play on his mind. It would have to play on his mind, that's for sure.
Yeah, I think it does. We move on to, I think, maybe one of the most bizarre matches of the round. Well, I thought I switched over between this and a couple of other games. Kecmanovic against Struff. Mate, I'll read you out the scoreline. 6-4, 1-6, 7-6, 1-6, then comes out in the last and wins in a super tiebreak. I'm like, Kecmanovic, he's a quality player. He can definitely play. As we've seen, in the later rounds, tonight as well as time of recording. And I was thinking, what's he doing? You reckon he was just saving himself in sets, tanking a set, doing a curious? I don't know.
A few years ago, there was a bit of talk about him in the next gen, and I think a few years ago he was seeded maybe for a Grand Slam here and there, but then he dropped off a bit, and he's sort of coming back to that form. I think he's a decent player, maybe top 50.
He can hit. He could definitely
Yeah,
go.
top 30.
He can. Yeah, I agree. Harry, nothing but.
I rate him highly, lads.
Yeah.
I rate him so highly. He is a clean striker of the ball, serves well, and he's not really that tall. Saw him up and close and personal on one of the outdoor courts in his first round match against Wakanaki of Japan, which he won in 4 sets. He can play. I just think his fitness levels, they're mediocre. They're not elite or world class. So, yeah, perhaps, you know, the minute he went down a break against Strauss, he was probably thinking, you know what, I'll just conserve my energy and toss this set in and get ready for the next one. So, no doubt in my mind. And he won't be the first player that's done that in a Grand Slam, and he won't be the last player either.
I agree. He's ranked 60 at the moment. His career high ranking was 27 last year.
There you go.
So, and he's still 24 years old.
I reckon, boys, he will be back. He will be back in the top 32. You'll start seeing a number next to his name in Grand Slams, the Indian Wells, Miami's, all that type of thing. Make no mistake. He will be. I mean, he's pocketed. I mean, at the time of recording this, he's just lost, obviously, to Carlos Alcaraz overnight. In the night session here at Rod Laver Arena, but that means he's pocketed 180 ranking points. So I kind of roughly know off the top of my head how the rankings will work. If he's 67 in the world, did you say, Mark?
Correct.
He's probably got about 850 odd ranking points, hardly any to defend from last year. If it's a clean 180, that'll take him into 1,000. He might even hit the 40 range, the mid-40s, I think, in the live rankings. I'll get that up shortly, and I can come back to it, but that's where he'll probably be after this tournament. So he won't be far off that top 32 spot again.
Yeah, how about just different game now, the Kokonakis Dimitrov game.
We went to that.
We were at the game. What's your views on that game there?
Mate, we were there together, and mate, anyone could have versed Dimitrov that day, and I reckon he would have given Novak Djokovic a run for his money that day. Seriously, he was striking the ball that
How clean was it?
Mate, the backhand was on, painting lines, serve was on. He could have missed. Forehand, everything at the net.
Yeah.
He ate everything at the net. Like, didn't miss. Everything went down the hatch. Just wow.
And he used his slice very well.
Yes,
that's Dimitrov's slice, very good.
Yeah.
He was hitting it deep, and it was hard for Kokonakis.
And so close to the net as well. And I'm just thinking, wow.
And gents, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'll just take you back to Kecmanovic. I've brought up the live ranking. I was pretty much 41. On the money. So I said he'd probably have about 850 odd ranking points thereabouts, 850, 900. Well, he's pocketed a clean 190 ranking points because he had nothing to defend. He's on 1,080 ranking points now and in a live ranking spot of 41. So he's 14 off his career high best. And he's now just a shy 9 ranking spots away from being seated in Grand Slams again.
Yeah. So he'll be there again.
He'll get back to it. There.
Alcaraz,
absolutely.
Watched a bit of that match against the Italian Sonego too. That shot around the net, disgusting. That's all that needs to be done.
Ridiculous.
He does that with ease now. Like, you've seen it a million times. Going, how do you do this? He's one of the cleanest hitters of the ball I've ever seen, and the hardest hitters.
When Djokovic ends up retiring, like, it's gonna be all Alcaraz, really. I don't know. It's unbelievable.
I think the biggest upset was Holger Rune. He got bamboozled by the energetic Frenchman in Arthur Cazot. He lost 6-7, 4-6, 6-4, 3-6. I mean, and he's 122nd in the world as well.
I don't know.
The irony is of that match. The irony is of that match. It was funny. They played a couple times in juniors. And you got to ask Holger Rune, like, do you remember Arthur Corcaz? He goes, and he got showed photos of them two playing in junior tournaments and whatnot. He goes, I hardly remember who he is. And you know what? I think those words now come to bite him in the backside, because I'm sure he now remembers who Arthur Corcaz is, because that was a gutsy 4-set win by the French wildcard. who, to be honest, I didn't hear much about. I just thought, yep, he's only there to make up the numbers in the draw, and he's had a fantastic tournament. And I think the Aussies giving him the wild card, they'd be happy with that because he's definitely gone deep in the draw.
Well, he now ranks 83 in the world. Sorry about that, Dean, just to cut you off. He ranks 83.
Yeah, so he's not dependent. He's not dependent on wild cards anymore. He'll be getting main direct entry into Grand Slams.
Correct.
And probably be playing qualifying in the Masters that are 64-man draw. So he's set himself up nicely. And of course, the next Grand Slam is the French Open, where he'll be looking to do much of the same and make those fourth round runs. Obviously, today he was taken down by the big serving pole in Hubert Hurkacz in straight sets.
Correct.
I think with Holger Rune, he's changing his coaches too much. He had Muratoglu last year, then got rid of him, had someone else, got him back, got rid of him. Now he's got Benjamin Becker in his players box. Like, you got to make up your mind. You can't keep changing coaches all the time. And has to be on you as well. Like, stop changing coaches 3-4 times a year. Just get one coach for a few years and work with that coach and improve and develop. And I don't know what happened with Muratoglu, but why get rid of Muratoglu, one of the best coaches, and he gives good advice to you. And don't think because you're young, you know everything, and I've already made it. I'm top 10 player. If you like that, you're not going to go anywhere. So you got to listen to people.
I agree.
I get what you mean, Dean, but I think with the Muratoglu coaching thing, I genuinely believe he was forced to wipe his hands clear of it, especially the controversy surrounding Muratoglu and Halep with a prohibited substance. So I'm thinking about it. If I was in his shoes, top 10 player, probably wouldn't want to be associated with that or the drama or anything involved. Or, if he's had the wrong person in his team from the Muratoglu Academy administer him something he shouldn't be taking, well, I don't want a bar of that. And mistakes like that at that level can cost people's livelihoods and careers. I think the change is necessary. But you're right, he hasn't had stability with the same coach consistently. And I think it's starting to get to him now, and it's starting to show.
Yeah. We move on to the women's side of the draw of round 2, and a big upset in this, and probably I'd arguably say one of the greatest games you'll probably see all year from a women's point of view. Elena Rybakina, world number 3, gets beaten by the Russian Anna Blinkova, and which saw a super tiebreaker go for an hour and 33 minutes the tiebreaker, and the set went for an hour and 33, 20-22. I mean,
ridiculous.
It's phenomenal.
That's crazy.
By two of them, but absolutely phenomenal.
We spoke about ebbs and flows of the Tsitsipas-Thompson match. Well, talk about this, the ebbs and flows, more like a roller coaster ride, like you wouldn't believe. That would have been, imagine their heartbeat per minute. Decisive, super set tiebreak.
I was watching it, and Rybakina was 18-17 up, and she had a match point, and she come to the net, and she just didn't execute the net. And I'm just like, wow, and that could be the end of you. And it came back to bite her.
It's another big set out.
An easy volley for her as well. She'd probably make that 9.9 times out of 10, and that 0.1, she missed it. So, wow, big seed to go early as well. Early on, I mean, you've got Raducanu, who she lost to Wang in 3. Pegula also failed to impress. She got knocked out as well.
I think Pegula is very similar to Sakari, just be mental there.
Just mental,
yeah. She hits the ball so cleanly as well. She's one of the best strikers I've seen. She hits it hard, flat. Shouldn't be going out in the second round, especially on a hard court, which suits her game to a T.
Yeah. Anything else to add in round 2? I mean, I don't have much from that.
I think we've covered all bases.
I think
round 3.
Round 3, yeah. I mean, we get into the flying Italian in Sinner, Yannick Sinner. I mean, he's just dispatching his opponents.
Too good.
He's like an F-18 jet through the thin air, mate. Easy as you like it. Straight sets all day.
This could be his best Grand Slam that he's
who will rival against the US Open from 2 years ago. I'm pretty sure. He was
think
when he lost to Alcaraz.
because a few years ago he wasn't in the top 10. Like he had C like
No.
15 or 20. So
Yeah,
it was always versing these guys early on, like
Early
round
on,
3,
yeah.
and now he's not. So now he's going to verse them in the quarters and potentially
Deeper in the
semi-finals.
Grand Slams.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll touch on him because man, I've been watching his games, and I mean, obviously Australian, but as Italian heritage, I watch all these games. Mate, I've not seen a guy hit it cleaner than him at the moment, than him and maybe Alcaraz.
He's seeing him like watermelons, Mars. He's phenomenal. His ball striking's gone up another notch.
Yeah.
I'm going to say now his backhand, if not the best in the game, is on par with Novak Djokovic's as the best in the game. He can literally hit it to the speckle of paint he wants on any given court, or to the blade of grass if it's a grass court, or to the spot of dirt he wants on a clay court. That's how precise he is. A little bit of improvement still to do on the forehand, but that's real solid.
Great.
Serving big, moving around. He's just like a gliding gazelle or an eagle.
Yeah.
Playing huge tennis, hasn't dropped a set. En route now to his quarterfinal match, which is obviously tomorrow night, the night session against Andrei Rublev, which I think he's going to win very easily as well, especially given how many 5-setters Rublev has played.
Yeah.
You touch base on, obviously, you being Australian and obviously Italian backgrounds. I think all the Italians are taking credit, though, Mars, from one Australian in particular that I want to give a mention to, and that's Darren Cahill. I think his coach, his newly appointed coach, I think since Darren Cahill has joined Yannick Sinner's camp, his level has got not just up another level, he's broken ceilings, he's kicked through ceilings, broken down doors, he's just barged his way through. He's in the top 3 players right now. I think he's even surpassed Medvedev, I'm going to say. Right now on form, I think he's better than Med. He's in the same bracket now as Alcaraz and Djokovic. And I'll even go as far as saying Djokovic is going to have a very uncomfortable night. It's going to be a day semi-final because of the opening side of the draw. The Friday day semi-final, it will be Djokovic and Sinner, in my opinion. And boy, oh boy, I can easily see that going to 5 and 4.5 hours, 5 hours maybe. It's going to be the match. That should be the final, in my opinion. That should be the final.
I think if it's like this Oz Open, but Sinner can definitely make a final of a Grand Slam this year. I think this is the year for him. Each year is getting better. Last year, looking at his record, 4th round, 2nd round, semi-final, 4th round. But this year's the year for him. I think he can.
Yeah, but on the 4th round, let's not forget, Dean, he did lose to Tsitsipas in 5 sets, and he came back from 2 sets down to force it into the 5th as well. It was a game, honestly, that I think the draw was unkind to both players, and it ended up becoming a flip of the coin that last set. So it was dead even. His probably biggest disappointment, he lost to Altmaier, 2nd round of the Roland Garros last year. He'll have a much better Roland Garros this time around as well.
I was actually there at that game as well. I was there at that game.
Yes.
It's a disappointing game. So it's a blink.
Well,
this is the year
the great news is for Sinner fans and Italian fans in general is that he's got hardly any ranking points to defend at Grand Slams, but it will become challenging for him how he's going to stack up at the back half of the year. As we saw, I think there was a stat, his last 23 matches of 2023, he won 21 matches and he only lost to Novak, I believe. So crazy stuff.
And I think he beat Novak.
He did, and he lost.
Yeah.
He lost to Benjamin Shelton as well. I remember.
Yeah.
After he had won in the Asian swing, he had won like 10 matches in a row.
Didn't care.
Well, I think he got defeated by fatigue rather than Benjamin Shelton, in my opinion.
He just come off that? What was it?
It was 10 wins in a row. He won Beijing.
Correct.
Beijing.
And then
he won ATP Beijing, and then he went into Shanghai with hardly any rest or time to adjust the conditions at the new tournament. Of course. Absolutely it will.
We move on to Fritz, Khachanov, Dimonov, and Tsitsipas. They all went through quite well. Rublev, he went through against Korda in 3.
He's in the more nice, isn't he? Wow.
He hasn't lost a game this year either.
Again, the power on his forehand backhands, it's unbelievable. I don't know if anyone's got more stronger shots than he's got. It's like 140, 150 kilometer forehands. Unreal.
hits him for
Oh.
fun. He can paint
Oh,
lines
yeah.
as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, mate, he's good to watch. Manarino, he knocked out Charlton. Another 5-setter. He
That
played
was a
3
massive match.
5-setters.
That was
Huge.
that almost went 5 hours. That almost went 5 hours.
That was nuts. That was crazy.
That is a player that, you know what, I've got to take my hat off to him.
Fighter.
Honestly, I do not rate him at all. I don't like his style of play. I don't like his tennis. I just think he's an absolute grinder. His technique's unorthodox. It's strange. It's weird. I know in the past, like in his younger years, he's been sort of mediocre, floated around between 80, even like, you know, when he was like 70 or 60 in the world, he'd enter challenges as the number 1 seed rather than playing ATP events. Really strange and bizarre guy, but to be fair, at the age of 35 now, in the 4th round of the Aussie Open, he didn't have an easy draw. He beat Wawrinka in the first round in 5. He came through in 3 5-setters. Can't remember who he defeated in the second round, but then Benjamin Charlton was like a 5-set, 5-hour grind, and he actually did come back from 2 sets to 1 down.
I was hoping to see a Charlton Djokovic 4th round.
He beat,
especially with
He beat Jaume Munir from Spain.
Jaume Munir, tricky customer as well. So Adrian Manarino, yes, even though I don't rate you or your style of play, I've got to take my hat off to you. You definitely deserve to be where you are now, and you've definitely proven me wrong.
17th in the world as well after this tournament.
Career high, I think that will be.
Yeah.
35 the new 28 on the tennis circuit. Yeah. Believe me, gents, the sports science has gone up another level.
It's unbelievable, mate. It's unbelievable. Sports science played a massive part in all sports, I think. And I'll always argue that till the cows come home. I went to RLA, Rod Laver Arena, for those wondering what RLA is. And, mate, they should be renaming it to NDA, the Novak Djokovic Arena.
Novak Djokovic Arena.
He dismantled Echeverry. I mean, Echeverry came on in the 3rd set, but it's like he let him in. He just let him in. He said, have a couple of games. He's back.
What can you say?
Mate.
Nothing you can say.
Mate, watching him, his serve, he's got more power now, being with Gordon. He can hit the spots now in his serve, because that was one part of his game where he lacked. His serve wasn't one of the best, and he needed to get
185, 190 consistently, never in the 200 pluses.
Yeah, he changed his serve technique because of his elbow injury as well.
Now, he was serving 205, 208 he got up to, and I'm like, what is this? Where have you got this power from, Novak? So, and that backhand, mate, when it's on, I don't think he gets enough credit. I personally, I know he can grind you down in that, but when he needs to hit a big shot, he can hit him hard too. He can hit him. And
he doesn't miss. He doesn't miss from that backhand wing. Never.
His movements on the court, like
a backhand unforced error from him, is as rare as hen's teeth.
It's just
mate. When I was watching one where he was defending from the backhand wing, but he hit a winner, and he wasn't even going for it. And I'm just looking like that's just Novak. Only he can do that.
How he slides and hits the ball, like it's incredible to watch.
Yeah, he's so flexible as well. His wingspan, the way he slides, comes down to the. That's a guy that deserves every bit of success, especially with the extras he's put in. Like, people say he trains a bit weird sometimes. Like, I've seen him do like all types of flexibility exercises and weird like yoga and all this. Well, gotten the best out of himself. That's why he's Novak. That's why he's a 24-time champion and potentially a 25th-time champion and an 11th-time Oz Open champion in a couple of days' time. So let's wait and see.
And he
also got the Botanical Gardens as well.
Yeah, he's got Botanical Gardens in his interview that he had.
Not too sure which street it is.
He creates another record for himself. He's the only player in the Open era to play 100 matches in all Grand Slams. And I'll just run it through the numbers. The Australian Open, 91 wins, 8 losses, win rate 92%. Wimbledon, 92 wins, 11 losses, 89%. 88, 13 losses at the US Open, 87%. And you have Roland Garros at 92 wins and 16 losses at 85%. So incredible.
Great
absolutely record. Incredible. Like, ridiculous numbers.
Phenomenal.
No one does that. Only he creates his own records. So,
if you've been at the ATP top 100 for 10 years, you're happy just to play 100 matches in Grand Slams in your career. And this guy's done 100 every single Grand Slam. It's a joke. He's writing his own book. He's writing his own script.
We move on to the women's side of round 3. Sabalenka, mate, she's giving us some bagels this year. I'll give her
6-0, 6-0.
52 minutes. 52 minutes.
I was so quick.
2 minutes.
It was training. It was actually training for it. She was like
power.
a partner
Crazy.
against Sarenko, the Ukrainian. Well, she's a weapon. We know what she is. The defending champion.
I called her last week as a champion. Don't forget it.
Yeah.
I called her. So I think the prediction is going to come correct as well.
The 16-year-old Mira Andreeva, she won again against Diane Parry.
She came up big at 5-1 down.
Mate,
in the last set,
5-1. Tie-break. Mental. That's mental fortitude.
Oh, yeah.
That's all that is.
Quality. That's when you know.
16 years of age. So she's got the game and she's got the mental strength. She's looking complete at such a young age.
That's a testament to her and her team as well. So, I mean, wow. There's big things to come from her. We move on to round 4. I mean, we go through Sinner again. He's outstanding form, just knocking.
Made light work of last year's semi-finalist.
Yep. I thought maybe catching up with
Nah. Too many 5-setters as well. It catches up to you. And those long games, I mean, yeah. Then we go back into Djokovic serving up bagels for breakfast and lunch, and he just dispatched Manarino.
Love and 3.
He gave that one, Manarino, after the second.
To his
That's
I
right.
rate that.
That's right.
That
was funny.
He knows.
And again,
he knew.
When you've played 15 sets of tennis, though, in the previous rounds, which is the maximum amount, you've come through 3 times in 5 sets. You're coming up against, obviously, Novak Djokovic. What did anyone expect? Fair play for him, though, for pushing on and not chucking in the towel and retiring hurt or, he was on and played it out.
On the court for like 11 hours, something like that before.
Yeah.
He was never going to trouble him. Never going to trouble him. Even if he did it.
No, never. Rublev, he came back from 2 sets to 1 down, and he served up his own bagel in the last against Alex de Minaur, who was the last Aussie left in the men's and the women's side of the draws. And I mean, Rublev again, we speak about it again, that ferocious hitting power. I mean, and then he was just going for him. He got cramp. I think it was the 3rd game in the last set, and
I think it was a great match to watch.
It was,
especially those first 4 the 4 sets. It was great to watch. Both players hitting hard. Like de Minaur, like the sliding and the way he was getting to the ball. Again, I know he lost, but no one else can do that. Like what he does on the court, and it was disappointing.
Mover.
I think he was very disappointed to lose in the 4th round. I thought he would actually beat Rublev, but that last set, I don't know what happened. It's just did he just drop, or just Rublev was just too good in the end?
Did it both, and then he had just had to go for it. Like Mars said, Rublev obviously had 3 love up, started feeling cramped, so he wanted to shorten the rallies. Obviously, he didn't want it to go into extended rallies, so it was literally hit and hope. It was either going to pay off big, or it was going to bring de Minaur back into the game. But hat off to Rublev, it paid off big. Gets a day's rest now and has to go back to work, and the draw doesn't get any easier for him coming up against Yannick Sinner.
I also think on de Minaur's side of things, when a player's injured, you change. I think you can change your mindset a little bit and not feel sorry for the player, but you're thinking too much about the bloke over the other side of the net, and then you're taking away from your own game, so your own performance levels drop. So I think that kind of played a part as well. I'm not too sure, but I thought he should have got him moving side to side, and he just didn't do it. And I mean, Rublev was hitting the ball and hitting lines with his shots, but I'm thinking, de Minaur can get there as well.
And how frustrated was Rublev getting as well? And he was getting very frustrated, screaming, yelling. Even like in the first game, he did like 2 double faults in that first game. He was losing it.
I think he just composed himself in the end and just thought, I'm just going to have to go for it. I thought if de Minaur did did catch one game, I thought he could catch fire and really believe in himself. But I thought he got too down on himself, and he just didn't give himself a chance.
Because the fourth said he was up a break, wasn't he? I'm pretty sure, Demon or
Correct, and then he
was
broke
up
back.
a break. Yeah.
Yeah. I think did they break back twice, or was it just the one? I think the one time, just the one time. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, that's disappointing for all Aussie fans as well to see another Aussie. I mean, don't make the quarters. But having said that, from last week, he is the last player. So the last player to hit the top 10 was Leighton Hewitt. So you were right on that.
I was on the money. I was on the money.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think he slips out of the top 10 though. I think he's now in the live ranking.
11th.
I think he goes to 12 or 11. Yeah.
11th. Yeah. So it's
because he was defending quarterfinal points from the year before.
Correct. That's right. So yeah, it's disappointing, but you know he's playing good tennis, so he shouldn't get too down on himself in that game. So yeah,
I agree.
We saw Medvedev and Hurkacz dispatch their opponents.
Yeah, it's easy.
And to Medvedev's opponent as well, who was little-known Portuguese Nuno Borges, who has never won back-to-back matches on the ATP Tour. Hat off to him. He had an unbelievable tournament. You know, Portuguese are known for being clay quarters. Well, he definitely proved that theory wrong because he also made the fourth round and along the way dispatched Grigor Dimitrov, obviously who came into the Australian Open in sensational form, having won the Brisbane International, the ATP 250 up there. And of course, Dimitrov took out Fuchsovich, a decent, you know, former top 50, top 30 player, I think he even was, in round one in 4 sets. And obviously dispatched Thanasi Kokkinakis in 4 sets in a match that we spoke about in length. So to me, the fact that he got the better of Grigor Dimitrov in 4 sets, great tournament for him. 180 ranking points reaching the 4th round for him. He'll climb up those rankings, I think, by about 20 or 30 spots off the top of my head. And he looks to set himself up for season 2024. However, today obviously came across Daniil Medvedev and even managed to pinch a set off Daniil Medvedev, believe it or not. But he bowed out in 4 sets and will be on the next plane back to Porto or Lisbon.
Yeah.
I think he's
the first Portuguese player to make the 4th round of the Oz Open as well. So
there you go. So hat off to Nuno Borges. Yep.
So with Dimitrov, it's another disappointing Grand Slam. I thought maybe he could go far in this one and then just I don't know what it is with him. He's 32. Like he should be in his
time's running out. Time's running out, and I think his time has run out.
Yeah, he's just not good enough in the end.
Yeah, just like when he's on his day, like we watched against Kokkinakis, unbelievable. But he has
just
too many
hits clean, just very nice. The technique's great. It's just not good enough.
Of course, and we spoke about Hurkacz as well. Sorry, just quickly on that. He obviously was the one that defeated the wild card, Arthur Korkas, who's made it all the way through to the 4th round. He dispatched him today in straight sets as well on John Cain Arena.
Yeah. And just live update, Nuno Borges, he goes up to 47th in the world, so 22.
Yeah, that's a massive jump. He gets direct entry into all Masters events. He'll get he's covered now.
Yeah.
And he'll win a couple of rounds. That's a big result for him. That's a big result. 47 gets you into
He could get into top, I don't know, maybe the top 30, but he could get around that 35th spot, somewhere around there.
Yeah. So to hold his
subject
form.
to how many points he's defending on the clay, and if he has a big clay season for the French, he'll be well and truly in the seeded spots.
Correct. We saw Zverev. Man, he loves to land himself in trouble, doesn't he?
Yeah, another 5-setter, another 2% tiebreaker.
Another big win.
I've calculated the amount of hours he's been on the court now. He's been on the court for nearly 15 hours.
Wow.
And we're 4 rounds in. I mean, that's a long time on the court.
Could affect him.
And it doesn't get any easier for him. His next round opponent, Carlitos Alcaraz.
It's a big game. It's a big one.
I don't think it is.
Shortly.
Yeah.
Alcaraz.
Munich for Zverev.
Alcaraz impressed tonight again as day of recording against Kecmanovic. I mean, he made it look easy, didn't he? 6-4, 6-4. I think it was 6-love. I mean,
he's
light work. Making light work with everyone.
We move to the women's side. Coco Gauff and Arena Sabalenka continue their strong form in straight sets victories.
Yeah. And that won't be the final as well because they're on the same
which is
draw,
gonna be
which is disappointing.
Yeah,
because I think whoever they should win there. Well, we'll speak about that later, but they should make the semis, and whoever wins that, I think, wins the Oz Open.
I agree.
Yeah.
Kostyuk dominates Timofeeva and eliminates the qualifier. Then we had the 16-year-old. She fell to the hands of the world number 11, Barbora Krejcikova, in 3 sets. I watched her against Storm Hunter, and she wasn't lucky to get through that game because of the Aussie crowd. But I thought her levels were down for a little bit. So she's been in 2-3 setters in a row. But I think that experience just reigned supreme in the end. I thought so.
And let's not forget, she's a former Grand Slam champion in winning the Roland Garros 2021 Krejcikova. So no pushover, but a very tricky customer. But again, she's similar to, she's like the WTA version of a Zverev or a Casper Ruud or someone like that. They just love getting themselves in 5-setters. She always seems to go the distance for some reason, but prevails more often than not when she does.
I agree. And then this is, I just couldn't believe my eyes. There was 3 shocks on day 9, which saw all seeded players. The women's
know them all off by heart. Know them all off by heart. Want me to go through them?
You go through them.
Upset number 1, Victoria Azarenka, knocked out. Who to, Muzz? You can go on.
Diana Yastremska
from Ukraine. She was the number 1. This is like this to me now. Like, okay, I actually watched Yastremska second round of qualies. She came up against a very close friend of mine in Valentini Grammatikopoulou from Greece, who's about 200 and something in the world. Valentini almost beat her. Like, I went the distance. There was not much in it. And, okay, well done to Yastremska. Can hit the ball really, really hard. It's either going in and she's painting lines, or it's missing by at least 5 to 10 meters when she clobbers that forehand. I just cannot believe, and hat off to her, fair play. She's now a quarterfinalist. The number 1 seed of qualifying has knocked out some big seeds, and now she's a quarterfinalist. So that was a real big shock. And she did it in straight sets. She won the opening set in a tiebreaker.
Yeah. Easy. Unbelievable.
So did it pretty easily in the end. Unfortunately, the second. Sorry, go on, Dean. I'll cut you off there.
I feel like sometimes this happens as Azarenka when the draw opens up and she versus one of these players and she just loses. It has happened in the past. She doesn't have that
killer instinct.
No,
pre-pregnancy, I think, when she was winning consistent Grand Slams and had that fierce rivalry with Serena. Is it going to come back? Who knows? Maybe time is running out now, starting to run out for her. But she's had a fantastic career, like multiple Grand Slam winner. I like her. I like watching her play. I think she's got a great personality, good demeanour. Wish her all the best, but I think similar to Dimitrov, her clock now is starting to tick away slowly and steadily. But she has won Grand Slams, not like Dimitrov, let's not forget.
Yeah, that's big. It's huge. Svitolina.
Second upset, Elena Svitolina retired. She was in tears. I didn't see what happened there. I was actually in the Players Cafe. Yeah, they're tough. Yeah. They're tough back injuries.
Apparently, she never felt. She tried to play through the pain, and she said that she couldn't. It was excruciating pain. So
forget it.
And
it's
that's where I'll touch
disappointing.
base and say that's where Stefanos Tsitsipas retired last year in Turin. Made the exact same comment, and that's why maybe this Australian Open, not to make excuses for him, but came in a little bit underdone. Those injuries, back, ankles, joints, or anything that's strenuous in tennis, which every part of the body is, they're just bad injuries. So commiserations to her. It's a fantastic achievement. She made the 4th round. She should have probably made the quarterfinals. But let's not take away. She came out, and I know it was only lasted like 10, 15 minutes, and it was 3-love. Nostrova from Czech Republic, who she lost to today, was the one that knocked out Iga Swiatek in the 3rd round. So, so
good form.
Let's not forget.
She's
Nostrova's playing the tennis of her life. So maybe even if she was fully fit, she wouldn't have come away with a W. So that was upset number 2, of course. And upset number 3, Jasmine Paolini, the 26th seed from Italy, went down to Kalinskaya of Russia in straight sets.
Right.
So she's about world number 75, and Kalinskaya has been on tour for many, many years. Just goes to show in the women's is that wide open right now.
Yeah, very open.
And again, it's an old cliche. I say it. I mean, in the men, okay, apart from if you're Novak, Sinner, Alcaraz, Medvedev, if they're 10, 15% off, they'll still manage a way to get through, okay?
That's right.
The others, yeah, if you're 5% off, 10%, they still might find a way through, but they're going to make their life hard. I'm telling you now, in the women, if you are 2.5 to 5% off, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, it's done.
Yeah. The ranking in women's right now, this Australian Open has proven, is just a number.
Yeah.
Anyone can beat anyone on any given day.
And as you've seen, I mean, over the past, since Serena's left, and I mean, Osaka, you know, she had the injury and then she had the baby as well. She left the game for a bit of time. You've seen a lot of different winners, a lot.
Of the Grand Slams,
You've got Swiatek, and then now you've got Sabalenka coming into her little run.
Yeah,
here, but
you've had
there's been-
Golf, you've had Krejcikova, you've had so many different winners.
I think Goff is the next one. To be honest, I think she'll be winning many Grand Slams.
I think we'll touch
And Nina Andreeva will then start coming up.
That's right. There's a few good young female players coming up.
Yeah.
So we'll get into the quarters, and we'll start off with the women quarterfinals. They're not the women; they're the men.
Yeah.
That is definitely not it, Mars. That is not it. Mate, I've uploaded the same thing. Give me one sec, ladies and gentlemen. Technical difficulties from Marcello. And there it is.
Here we go. It's up.
So your women's singles quarterfinals, we've got Noskova against say it, Harry. It was a tongue twister for me.
Say it.
Noskova versus Yastremska. Yastremska. Yeah.
Kalinskaya against Zheng, Kusturk against Goff, and Krejcikova against Sabalenka. I mean,
we know it'll be
mouth-watering.
Are we making our predictions? Or?
I'll take these down. I'll take
it down.
Yeah, let's see if we
take them down.
These ones right.
Bring them back up. Bring the graphics back up for our viewers as well, Mars.
Sec. Yep. Let's go.
All right. I'm going Yastremska to beat Noskova.
Yeah.
I'm going Zheng to beat Kalinskaya.
Yep.
I'm going Goff to beat Kustyuk. And I'm going Sabalenka to knock off Krejcikova. And then from there, I'll take Zheng to make the final. And I'll take Sabalenka to beat Goff. So I'm calling a Zheng-Sabalenka final.
Nice.
Which Sabalenka will win.
Yep. Sabalenka win. Dean?
So all the quarterfinals, Yastremska to win her quarterfinal, Zheng to win the second quarterfinal, Goff to win, Sabalenka to win. The semi-final, I think Zheng will win her semi-final.
Yep.
And I think Goff will beat Sabalenka in the semi-final and reach the final.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
And then I'm guessing you're going to say Goff to win it all.
Yes, Goff to win it. I think Goff wins it.
I'm going to go, you know what? I'm going to go different. I'm going to go with the form, and I'm going to go Noskova to win.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go Zheng. I'm going to go Goff to win, and obviously Sabalenka. Then, it's a tough one. I reckon it'll be a good game if there was to match up. But you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to go with the form again. I'm going to go Noskova to win. So she's going to make her first final against Arina Sabalenka.
Yep. Okay. Time will tell. Our predictions are in.
My winner of the eventual winner is Sabalenka. So, I mean, make of it what you will.
8 players left in that draw. 3 seeds. 3 seeds. That's something you don't see too often in Grand Slam tennis.
No.
8 quarterfinalists, 3 seeds left. more unseeded players than there are seeded players. Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
When do you see that? I mean, only the women's game produces that. The men's
Yeah.
doesn't really produce
Not
that.
really. No.
Rarely,
Sometimes.
rarely. No way.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
And I guess
All right, let's go over
Let's
to
go
the-
to the men's
to
side
the
of the
men's.
draw.
The men's.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I think this is a bit
Some
more
big
straightforward.
quarters here.
Wowie. Here we go. So we've got
Massive.
Djokovic versus Fritz. Yannick Sinner against Rublev. Hurkacz against Medvedev. And Zverev against Alcaraz. Harry, you want to lead proceedings?
Yep, very easy. Djokovic will get through against Taylor Fritz, I think, in 4 sets. I think Fritz might pinch one in a tiebreaker, especially if he serves the way he did against Stefanos Tsitsipas yesterday in the 4th round at John Cain Arena. Sinner Rublev, I'm calling a straight sets victory by Sinner. I think fatigue will definitely catch up to Rublev, who's been in quite a few 5-setters and lengthy matches that have definitely exceeded the amount of minutes he would have liked to have spent on court, especially in the earlier rounds. Hurkacz versus Medvedev, I can see this going to 5, and I think Daniel is going to dig himself out of a massive grave like he has so many times. Hurkacz has really surprised me. He's normally one that gets knocked out in the earlier rounds as well, so he's had a great tournament. I think he's really going to push Medvedev to the distance. It'll be met in 5, and I'm calling an Alcaraz straight set, maybe a 4th if Zverev can serve big. So that's my prediction there.
And then I guess you've got your 2.
Are we all on the same
semis.
page? Are we all on the same page? I think they're straightforward there.
I'm a little bit different. I'm
Here we
going to
go.
be a little bit different.
Go on, team.
I think Djokovic, Fritz, obviously Djokovic, I think in 4, Fritz can trouble him, which he has in the, I think it was the 2021 Oz Open, I think, in the 5 sets.
5 sets, yep.
I think Sinner will beat Rublev, but I think it'll be very close. I know Rublev, he's played long hours and he may not be as match fit, but I think he can trouble him with how hard he can hit the ball. Then Medvedev will win against Hurkacz. I think probably 4 to 5 sets. And I'm going with the upset here. I'm going with Zverev to beat Alcaraz. I know Zverev can trouble him. Right? And I feel like Zverev plays good against the top 5 players.
Because he's got to lock in mentally.
He switches on. It's different tennis, and he knows. I think he knows how to beat them. And I'm going Zverev to win in 5 sets in that match.
Okay.
And then are we going semi-finals and finals predictors as well for winners?
Yeah, go.
Yeah?
Do you want to start first? I'll run through
quarterfinalist
winners.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Djokovic because it's Djokovic. Sinner seeing the ball like a fucking watermelon. Medvedev. And I'm going to say Alcaraz. But I can see where you're coming from, then, because he is playing quality tennis. Well, was up until the Oz Open. Now he's getting himself in deep waters sometimes. But I agree. He mentally locks in. Yeah.
And can I just say, sorry to interrupt, Mars, just quickly before I go through my predictions. Let's go through them again. Fritz, the 12th seed. Djokovic, the 1 seed. So that's 2 out of 2 so far. Sinner, 4th seed versus Rublev, 5th seed. 4 out of 4 are seeds. Top right-hand section, Hurkacz, 9th seed versus Daniil Medvedev, the 3rd seed. 6 out of 6. And then Zverev, the 6th seed, against Carlos Alcaraz, the 2nd seed. So the women in the quarters had 3 seeded players out of the 8. The men have got 8 out of 8 that are seeded.
Make of it what you will.
Yep. On to predictions again now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll go through to the semi-finals. I said it's going to be a Novak versus Sinner semi-final. I think Yannick Sinner is going to do the job here, lads. I think he's going to take down Novak in 5, and he'll make his first Grand Slam final. And on the other side of the semi-final, I believe Carlos Alcaraz will be too much for Daniil Medvedev. He'll win that in 4. It's going to be a Sinner Alcaraz final, and I believe that Yannick Sinner will come away with the chocolates. He'll win his first Grand Slam down under.
Wow. It's a big call.
But that'll be an epic, that game.
He's
Oh,
playing
yeah.
so well. He's playing so well.
And as I was discussing before, but I've said it to a few people. If you've got 5 hours of your life to spare, go back and watch, or 4 hours. Go back and watch the quarterfinal between Alcaraz and Sinner. It's the highest quality of
Of the
tennis.
US Open 2021.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
That was unreal.
Unbelievable. The tennis, the quality for 5 sets was like elite levels, like something you don't see. Like it's Roger Federer versus Nadal type, Djokovic. Like it's in that, you can put them in that sentence. So if that was the final, mate, it's mouth watering, and mate, I'd want to go watch it, to be honest. Sana?
I think Djokovic Sinner. I think Djokovic wins probably in 5 sets.
Yep.
Then I got Medvedev Zverev. I'm going Medvedev in 5 sets, and I think it'll be a Djokovic Medvedev final, and Djokovic will win in 4 sets, and Djokovic will have his 25th Grand Slam. Like for me, I know some of the players have played many hours on the court, but if you're good enough and you're fit enough, you should. There's no excuse. You've seen in the past all the champions. Remember Nadal, even Djokovic, Federer. Some of the quarters or semis have been long games, and they've won the final. So if you're good, if you're a champion, you should win.
No
I feel like
excuses,
and I feel like the quarters, especially on the men's side, the quality of tennis, it's always there. It's actually unbelievable. It's always good to go and watch a quarter. What do you think on that?
like I look at all these games, to be honest, and you just see all the players in there, and they're playing. There's no shocks, and they're all playing high quality tennis at the moment. And I mean, they've got Djokovic, Sinner, Medvedev, Alcaraz. I mean, any of the quarterfinalists, maybe bar Fritz, but Fritz on his day can trouble anyone in the world. Those top 10 players. I mean, they're all
correct.
They can all win it, So I'm gonna personally. This is one for the heart, because Djokovic I love, but Sinner I love too. God, you know what? I'm gonna go with Harry, because I can see Sinner beating Djokovic. I can see it, the way he's playing at the moment, and Djokovic only gets better as the tournament progresses. But I mean, this could be my take.
And the Darren Cahill effect.
And
the Darren Cahill effect. Trust me.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna go with a little, something different. I'm gonna go something
be the
different.
one.
I'm gonna say Sinner. Because Djokovic, let's be honest, he can win any of these Grand Slams on the tour right now. So he can take a pick.
Yeah, that's right.
And we know he loves Melbourne Park as well. But I'm going to go, look, different flavour, Sinner. And he will be versing Medvedev Alcaraz. I'm going to say Alcaraz.
Tough one.
Yeah.
I'm going to say Alcaraz.
We're going to have some juicy semi-finals.
Oh, yeah. That'll be great.
And look, I echo the thoughts of you, Zana, with that.
Yeah.
If you're a champion, and the hours don't mean anything on the court. But I just think against Carlos, and if you've already played those grueling 5-setters that have gone for 4 hours, it can come back and it can catch up. Like if you get to 5 sets against Alcaraz, he's going to take you the journey, because he hasn't played. He's hardly played any court time. So, look, I'm going to go for that. And you know what? To be honest, I'd go pay $2,000 for this ticket. I'd go and watch this final. Sinner versus Alcaraz. I'd seriously go. It would be a whirlwind of a game. And you're talking about ebbs and flows, Harry?
Yeah.
This will be ebbs and flows.
That's going to be a Luna Park roller coaster ride for 5 hours.
Don't worry about Luna Park. That thing's breaking down today. You're going to have to go to Universal. Mate, it's the dinosaur. It turns you upside down and you go on whack and whack. And I'm
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm going to say Sinner wins in 5.
Wow.
And it's going to go into the early hours of the morning, mate. It could go for 5 hours, that match.
Yeah.
Look, I'd love to see Djokovic win 25. He's broken all the records. But, mate, if Sinner won or Alcaraz, mate, you're blessed. Whoever's got a final ticket to this game
great.
To watch this year's final, mate, you're blessed.
Yeah.
Because any of these players, they're
absolutely.
high quality. I think they're high quality, to be honest.
Correct.
So
100%.
we've got just wrapping up our win. Well, if I go back to actually last week's predictions, and I will go back. So we had the women's dark horse. We all got knocked out in the second round. I got sucked in
No
by
goods.
the Greekness here. I got
Yeah.
sucked in.
No, you instigated
No
that
goods.
and you sucked all
Yeah,
of us
that's
into
right.
that. I just
That's
wanted to
right.
say champion of the women's, and I said Sabalenka. I'm on the right
said-
path.
Suckety, we all said the dark horse, and we all got that completely
Yeah,
wrong.
worked out well.
The women,
I really
the
worked
women's,
I was wrong.
the women's winner, Dean said Iga Swiatek. And
That was no good.
Bye-bye.
Wasn't it? Bye. I'm done.
Harry and myself said Sabalenka. So we're looking on
We
track
got the
there.
tick. Let's go with the tick.
We're looking
Dino,
on
you got
track.
the X.
Yeah,
No good.
no good there. No good.
Oh,
No deal,
God.
mate. No deal. And then we went to the men's dark horse, and we're all in at the moment. Dean and Harry saying
Oh.
Zverev.
Right,
Do you know
you
who
know
I
some-
went with
Oh,
the
shit.
lads?
Yannick Sinner.
No, I didn't.
Who'd you go?
Who'd you go with?
Rublev.
Ah, wow.
Jeez, okay. Okay.
Yeah. So I thought
He's
he could
still
go
in
a bit
it?
deep this year. He's still in it, but I think coming off that last game,
Very
and
hard for him
hitting
to get through.
cramp and hitting cramp too, it's going to be tough.
He'll need a few bottles of pickle juice in because if he goes 4 or 5,
That's
we'll be
right.
experiencing more. Yeah, more cramps.
You know, there'll be a
Better
lot
walk
of yelling
out
in that game as
with a
well.
few bottles of pickle juice, that's for sure. Yeah.
He's going to be in a wheelchair by the end of the game. And the men's winner, we all said Djokovic. So
Yeah.
Dean's on track for his.
Yeah,
my
I said
opinion's
I didn't change.
I've changed. On record
opinion's
now.
changed.
Sinner.
I'm Sinner.
Sinner.
Yeah.
Yannick
Sinner.
Sinner for the win.
But if Djokovic does win, I mean, fuck. What more can you say about this guy?
Nah,
Seriously.
it's-
You know, actually, I went back, I was on YouTube and I just crossed the video about him and his diet, which is very interesting. And he changed his diet. I forgot the name of the dietitian and the sports scientist, but they changed his diet. They did all these tests, and apparently he was gluten intolerant.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
so he's cut out all meats from his diet, and I think he just has fish now, and he doesn't eat before the start of games anymore because he feels too heavy. So, and I think he's got more of a vegetarian diet as well. So, I mean, there's a 9-minute video. I might put it in.
I think everything changed. Sorry, I think everything changed after that. I don't know what year it was, but when he retired,
2009. 2009.
Correct.
2009.
Everything changed.
open.
Everything changed. Yeah. After that,
that
it started to
against
change.
Couldn't cope in the heat.
Yeah, that's right.
Songa or Roddick? I think it may have
Yeah,
been
I think it was
Songa.
Roddick.
I think it
Or
was
maybe
Songa.
Songa,
He
maybe
was a
okay.
five-setter.
Yeah. Then he retired.
And that's when incorrect, and that's when it changed as well. And they were explaining in the video
and
as
now,
well. So it's a good watch. Yeah,
and look at him now.
I'll look at you, lads. But yeah, and look at him now. Look where he is.
Yeah.
He's at the pinnacle. He's won everything. I mean, there's not much more you can say. I mean, if you haven't watched him before, make sure you go and watch this bloke play tennis because you're missing out on something that you'll never see again when he retires. So,
correct.
I mean, do we have any more points to add, lad? I mean, I do have a couple of things just out of the tournament. I mean, they changed the rule change. So I didn't know about this up until about a couple of days ago, where that spectators can enter. Because I was wondering when I was sitting down, seeing spectators just enter after every game, and they used to be after every 2 games. So I'm thinking, like, what is that? Like, what do you think?
Apparently they can do it in the upper levels.
Yeah.
Like personally for me, I don't think it's not a bad idea. Sometimes if you need to go get some food or go to the toilet, you can wait 20 minutes to go back into the arena. And I can see from their point of view, they want more people in their seats. And you know what? I think it's how tennis has to move now, and the players just have to get used to it. I feel like some of the tennis players, just focus on the game. Don't worry about the spectators at the top walking around. I think it's a good thing. And like I said, tennis players have to get used to it now. And I think this is how tennis should be. What do you think, Harry, on that?
H.
Look, I understand both ends of both player and also both the Australian Open. And I also think, yes, the stadiums need to look full as well at all times, because we saw COVID, how empty stadiums just look horrendous. And especially in the earlier rounds when, if a stadium's like 1/25 full because of pricing and little interest of watching a Novak Djokovic do a 6-1, 6-love, 6-3 job on, somebody. Obviously, that didn't happen this year in his instance. Or, a Yannick Sinner doing what he did to Sebastian Baez. Like, it's not a good look, for the sport. So I genuinely believe the fuller it looks, the better from a TV point of view. From when you're actually playing there, it does disrupt play. It's a little bit noisier. You've always got the chair umpire, holding play up, saying, please, next available chair, because, sometimes it's that crowd member, it's their first time at the tennis. So I find it a little bit bizarre and strange. If I was a player, it peeved me off. But me being a spectator, I don't miss the days of having to wait 20 minutes just to go out for a quick toilet break and to get some hot fries and a drink from the canteen. And missing 3 games, you know what I mean? So I'm on the fence with it. I can't say I'm pro one side or pro the other. I'm on the fence. There's pros and cons on both sides of the argument.
I agree with both points because, you always want a stadium to look full. I think the lower sections, so behind the players, I think they should hold them for 2 games. But the upper tiers, I think you should be allowed in the wings because I know you're serving as well and you can see that way to the wings as well. Yeah. But it makes very little difference because you're looking more up. But I think that the wings and the upper tiers, I think they should let them come in and out. But those ones behind the players, I think maybe hold off until the 2 games is done. That's what I think. There's always there's always room for refinement. So, I mean, look, you want to see it full. You always want a stadium buzzing. You want an atmosphere like a zoo, as we see in the Kyrgios match. Imagine people coming in and out in the Kyrgios match. Yeah. I mean, he doesn't care. Kyrgios doesn't care.
No.
And we know that. He loves the zoo atmosphere.
I think this is the first time they're doing it. Like I think at any tournament, I haven't seen it at any other tournament. And who knows what other Grand Slams you do? Have you had? Okay.
Nah, I'll tell you where they trolled it at the ATP Next Gen Finals. The ATP Next Gen Finals. So they allowed people to move freely. I think there was like DJ in between points, playing music and stuff like that. Which is fine. I think it's great. Innovation and adaptation is great for the sport. I'm anti 1900 traditions. I think just let that be at Wimbledon. Everywhere else needs to move on. That's my 2 cents on it. So they have trialled it. I mean, if the next gen players cope well with it, maybe everyone else can. But I guess a next gen sort of ATP finals, they don't really have ranking points. Grand Slams, it's hundreds of thousands in prize money for the next round. And, you're literally doubling your ranking points every time you win a next round at a Grand Slam. So chalk and cheese in terms of the seriousness and the severity of each tournament.
Yeah, I agree. Anything to add, lads? I'm out of both points. I think we've covered everything, to be honest.
I'm done and dusted on mine. Then might have one left.
Just one thing about Court 6 at the Oz Open, that they have a bar on one side.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
Massive fan of it. Great initiative. Yeah. But
I love it.
I guarantee you, some idiot is going to throw a beer on there next to Oz Open or the one after. Yeah. I'm telling you now, it's a recipe for disaster, and he's going to ruin the fun for everyone. That is what's going to happen. Or up the top level, because there's a second level with an elevated view up there. They've got the rooftop. So it'll be one peanut that decides to just ruin the fun for everyone, and they'll put a stop to that ASAP.
Yeah, I think
it's a cool initiative.
Innovative. Yeah,
it is.
Because it gets different people to watch the tennis than to a regular tennis fan. People can come and drink and socialise and talk and watch the tennis as well.
And we know, with today's day and age, everyone's an Instagram influencer, and they all want their pictures. And I'm here and I'm there. So you got the traditionalists, and then you got the Instagram influencers. So you're covering both ends of the spectrum, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just sorry, one thing to add. Do you feel like the actual each set in the match is going for longer than normal? Or is it just me? I feel like the sets are going longer. And the matches are going longer. Nah? Okay, it's just me then. I'm just like a normal men's match. It's like each set
I'll
between 50 to an
roughly
hour.
average. No, I'd say normally about 45 to 50.
Yeah.
And if it goes to a tiebreaker, maybe an hour, 55 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
Haven't seen too many sets go past the hour mark in the men's side.
I don't think have we had any games gone past the 5 hour mark? I'm not sure. I don't think we have.
None yet.
I think they've all
yet.
been. I think the highest was the Zverev game, 4 hours and 49. I think.
Yeah, that's right.
I think or did Shelton and Manarino beat it? I'm telling you, Shelton and Manarino's was long, boys.
Yeah.
Was it?
Was it?
Yeah, it was really long.
But I think
4 hours and 49 minutes. I reckon. Was that how long Zverev went today?
How long did he go today?
4 hours and 5. Sorry. I think
it was one game.
I reckon Shelton's and Manarino's went for some reason 4 hours and 36 minutes.
Yeah,
I'll try to see if I can dig up that info somewhere. That would have been day. It was a Friday, day 5. No. It was on Kia Arena. I remember that.
What's that racket behind your head? It was a signed by
I'll tell you in a second. I'll tell you in a second, mate. It's a special edition racket.
And okay.
Sorry, I was on the money. I think I'm on the money.
Yep.
Men's singles, third round, Kia Arena, 4 hours and 46 minutes. Adrian Manarino versus Ben Shelton. So 4 hours and 46 minutes.
We haven't had anything go past the 5 hours. So, I mean, you get the odd occasional set that goes, that hour and 10, that hour mark. I mean, that women's match went for an hour and 30, that last set. So, it's an anomaly. I mean, it hardly ever happens. But I think the matches have gotten shorter because you got the super tie break now. So,
that's right.
What
racket do you have there, Harry?
I've got a Wilson Blade Max Hughes and signed by. Can you guess whose signatures that is?
I wouldn't know. Stepanov 60 bucks.
Yeah.
Correct.
Some Greek player.
There you go. That's the one. So this was Max Hughes last year in 2022, where he made the final. So it's one that I'm not going to touch or ever use. I think you can even see some dents and scrapes on the racket all around. So it's pretty lucky. Yeah, I'm definitely going to get a frame. It's quality racket. Feels great, but yeah, absolutely. So that's what was hanging up in the background, boys.
I actually do have a question for you, Harry, because we know we all love our tennis here, but Harry, being the sicko that you are and you follow the juniors as well, do we have any up-and-coming juniors to make mention of?
Actually, yes. Look, to be honest, my pulse has been off the boys juniors.
I know one female junior, but go on, Harry.
I think I was going to go to the female as well. She's 14 years old. Is that the one you're talking about?
That's the one.
Ksenia Efiremidova or something like that. Yeah. So
that's the one.
Let me get her name up. She's 14 years old, which is really young for a junior player to play. Normally they're 15 turning 16. Well, she's 14 years old, Marcello, and she's winning rounds. Fresh out and still at the Patrick Mouratoglou Academy. I've seen Patrick been posting about her for quite some time now.
For a long time now.
And she's flying. She's really, really doing well. Let's see actually her results. I'm really keen to my junior girls singles.
Won the first 2 rounds, I'm pretty sure. Wild card. I think she's for the future. Again, Mouratoglou's been with her for a long time. Now she's Russian, but she's a French citizen now.
Yeah, I think she represent Russia. Jeez, did she lose round 1? Hang on, let's see.
I think she won. She beat a seeded player in round 1.
Correct.
And I
Yeah,
think
I'm looking for
Efremova.
Efremova. Sorry. She came in as a wild card. She's from France.
That's right.
14 years of age. Her singles rank in the WTA is 1,105. And her name is Ksenia Efremova. Sorry, I got her surname wrong. So Ksenia Efremova. So that's one to keep an eye out. She beat the number 5 seed in straight sets. So she's top half girls draw. And, she's won her second round match in straight sets, defeating Japan, Kinoshita. So she's into the third round, still active. So let's see how far she goes.
And I know she's won some ITF female. She's won an ITF female title as well. So playing adult players.
Yeah.
So she's the next one to watch in the next few years. She'll probably be playing
absolutely
in the main draw of the Grand Slam.
Mate, go follow her on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Follow her journey, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
absolutely.
know about, there's another player. I don't know. Leighton Hewitt's son. I don't know how good he is.
That. He lost the first.
He lost in the first round to a seeded player, 6'2", 6'3", Cruz Hewitt. So
he's pretty tall. I think
he's got a big future.
Yeah,
he's definitely got height about him,
which his dad didn't. And his mum doesn't.
So. Correct.
Maybe he's adopted. Nah.
Potentially.
Any Greek kids, Harry? Any Greek kids?
Yeah, there's definitely one that I'm head over heels about. His family. He's still too young to compete in the junior Grand Slams, but a name I'm going to call him from now. Called Stefanos Tsitsipas at 14. I want to make a call on this kid here. He's 12 years old. He goes by the name of Rafael Pagonis. Just remember that name. Maybe put it in a notebook somewhere. So all the best to him. There's a pretty prestigious junior tournament right now going on in France for juniors. Most of the players competing in that draw are some of Europe's finest, and they're 2010 born. Young Rafael is born in December of 2011, and which makes him 12 years old, just turned 12 in December, 1 month ago. So he's coming up against the strongest 13-year-olds in Europe. Can confirm he successfully qualified through the qualifiers, all winning his matches quite easily in straight sets. So he probably won't win this tournament. It's called the Les Petites As, as they call it in French. Players like Alcaraz, Rune, I'm sure many others have played it in previous years as well. It's almost prestigious as the Orange Bowl, which is one of the biggest tournaments at the junior stage. So let's see how good he goes. He's 12. Hopefully I see him in 3 years' time here at Melbourne Park. Until then, I'll probably catch him on my holidays in Greece in July of this year.
That's it.
Oh, that's a big one. You going any Grand Slams? Are you going to try and catch one? No,
mate. I've unfortunately got a wedding to plan and book for the following year. So I think if there's any more tennis, but I can confirm my fiance Erica has been kind enough to accept a weekend over in London, where I'll be catching as many Premier League matches as I can in late August. Late August.
It's the best, man. I'll tell you that. It's the greatest thing to watch.
Absolutely. Apart from Grand Slam tennis. Yeah.
I mean, you've been to US. Haven't you been to the US Open? Yeah.
Went to the US in 2018. That was a really good experience. I've done a Wimbledon tour. I've never been to the French. The French is probably the next one on the cards for me. I'd rather the French over Wimbledon.
I went to the French Open. Pretty good. Yeah. I'd still say Australia's atmosphere is probably number one. I haven't been to the US, but you have. But
US atmosphere, they're uncultured. Not as cultured as us. Less multicultural over there as well. Very, very Americanized. I mean, they go wild, but I love Melbourne Park. You see so many different flags. The multiculturalism is just what makes it stand out from any other Grand Slam. You know, whether you're Swede, Croatian, Greek, South American, every player will have minimum 20, 30 spectators with flags out supporting them at any one given time.
Right.
Saying that, when we were at the Kokinakis and Dimitrov game, I've never seen so many Bulgarians in one place at one time.
And the Bulgarians in front of us as well.
There was more Bulgarians here
crazy.
than there are in Bulgaria. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, probably. It's
a strong community.
It's crazy.
They love him, Bulgarians.
They do. They definitely do.
Well, we'll
Absolutely.
wrap it up, guys, because we've been waffling for an hour and 54 minutes. I mean, we're
Yeah,
going to break our
it's
record
been a
of
long
an hour and
time.
55, I think. But I
I
mean, no, we've
That's
covered it. We've covered everything. We've done rounds 1 to 4. We've given an extensive review of that, and now we've done a preview of the quarters and who we think will win it. I think we'll be back for the semi-finals, I'm guessing.
Yeah,
And then,
After the
So if you
semis
haven't-
and previewing the final. Yep.
yeah.
Correct. So if you haven't already liked, make sure you like it. Leave a comment down below. I'm sure we'll read it out. And, if you've got a question for us or who you think will be the next up-and-coming star, or leave a comment who you think will win the Oz Open, please let us know. But, leave a like, comment, subscribe, and, thank you. And that's been another episode of the Grand Slam Grind.